It all started back in 1954 when Ishiro Honda directed the first Godzilla film. This film did not feature another monster, and nor did it feature another nor did it feature a lot of things that be used in later films. It was just simply a monster film. It was supposed to be a horror film slash a kaiju film. It was the second kaiju film of the ever made, so it has its flaws, it has its doubts and all that. It's a good film though, I would say that. I mean, it's entertaining. A lot of the scenes are, some of them are accidents, some of them were hard to film, some of them, well, the suit actor can only wear it for about, I think about a couple minutes at a time, so that was very hard in filming, so props to him on that. But in 1954 it was Gojira. 1955 an American version with Raymond Burr was released called Godzilla King of the Monsters. And in 1977 Godzilla was released, which I will get into that in its own video, because I don't count it as one of the main series films. But that's the first film. I would rate it, watch it, it's a good film. It's entertaining, and I'd give it a solid 6 out of 10 because I like kaiju fighting other kaiju in my films. But it's a really good film. Next film we're moving on is a sequel to the last film. It came out 3 months after the last film. In 1959, it was released as Gigantus the Fire Monster. You know what I'm talking about. It's Godzilla Raids Again. You get some better lighting on that. I don't like that. Why is it my lighting won't capture that? But Godzilla Raids Again it's not the best sequel. It has 2 monsters. It has Godzilla fighting Anguirus, which is one of my favorite kaiju in the series. It has more action and all that, but it's slow paced at times, and some things don't even make sense. Like, at one point, like, Godzilla's roar, they were using the same roar, but then they used Anguirus' roar because it ran out for some reason. And then at the end, it was sped up, and it just looked so weird, and the ambience was good. This time it's not in Tokyo, it's in Osaka. It's a good film, and I'm gonna move that. What do you know? I can make it look nice, but it's an okay film. Anguirus is killed like about 45 minutes in, and then just stopping Godzilla. It's a good sequel, but not as good as the first, and it's good, but I have bad things to say about it too. Like, there's some shots that look cheap, there's just some shots that are repeated, there's just some shots that look stupid, some shots that don't even need to be there, like the dancing scene. The American version isn't the best. I watched that. I should watch the Japanese version. I suggest you watch the Japanese version, because it's far superior. But let's get on with the next film. Hold on, I'll give this film, I want to give it like a 4 out of 10. Not a really good film, in my opinion, the best. But that's just my thing, and yeah, and we're moving on to the next film, which is yet another sequel. Godzilla's, this came out after 7 years. Yeah, I knew it was 7 years. Toho teamed up with Universal, and they made King Kong versus Godzilla. Brought out 2 beasts to duel it out for supreme power and all that. King Kong versus Godzilla is a good film. It's a really good film. It's nice. It's one of my favorites. It's funny. It's awesome. It has a good Godzilla model. Well, even though this one shows. Look at this cover. This cover is a bit weird. What's the back of it look like? This is normal, but I mean the front, it looks stupid. I mean it looks cool, but it makes no sense. I'll do like something on my channel where I talk about bad Godzilla covers or something like that, because this is just one thing about movies, movie covers and all that. But this is a very good film. I recommend it. It's amazing. They introduced King Kong with his shocking abilities. The plot is that somebody's tired of Godzilla and wants to get rid of him, so get King Kong in the mix. And it takes up like 7 years, I guess, after the Godzilla breaks again, because Godzilla breaks out of an iceberg. I mean, somehow looks different. But that's a reason for another day, because the suits could only handle like a couple years at a time, because by the time a couple years pass by, they're already decoded. And they aren't used, can't really be used anymore. They're just like sunken in eyes and all that, and some of them are falling apart, and I'll show you later. But that's King Kong vs. Godzilla. I'd give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's a really good film, but it's not the best, obviously. Now we get into something really cool. This is, I don't know if this is a sequel, but it says Godzilla vs. Mothra, but I'm calling it Mothra vs. Godzilla. Basically, a stupid guy steals fairies from Faroe Island, I'm pretty sure. No, Infant Island, and Mothra gets mad. Larva attacks city. Cocoons. Mothra is big. Okay, now it's all insane. And then scientists find out Godzilla's in the ground. He comes out of the ground, and he clumps over stuff. I mean, this is his third film. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be the best. Actually, this is a really entertaining film, because he like runs into all kinds of stuff, and Mothra gets her butt kicked, but then the larvas kick Godzilla's butt then and tumble in the water. It's a good film. I'd recommend it. It's really, really good. Really good human scenes and all that, and I'd give it like about 8.2 out of 10. It's really good, but not my favorite, of course, but I'll watch this from time to time. It has a good intro, good thing with it, and it's just a good film. And I hope that if they ever remake it someday, I hope it's as good as it was. Now we get to another film. This introduced King Ghidorah, the first debut of King Ghidorah. 1964 classic. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. It's a really good film. It's awesome. Ghidorah's at the end, but it has Godzilla and Rodan for the first time. It has Mothra for the second time. And it has Ghidorah with weird wings for some reason. That's actually the original Japanese poster, so I don't know why, but I guess that's just a thing. But that's this is the film. What is the cover of the film? It was a really good film. It's nice. It introduces a lot of good characters. It introduces a weird queen plot, but it's really good. It works out in the end. It's nice, enjoyable, entertaining, and introduces the Golden Dragon. What more could you want? Except for a film that looks exactly like it and was released in 1965. Well, you got your wish. But I give this a solid same rating as King Kong vs. Godzilla. I can watch this from time to time, and it's really, really good in my opinion. Now this is a sequel you wanted, or remake if you want to say. Like, I don't know. Mothra was scrapped in this film. They're originally going to have her, but you know, budget and all that seems to do a lot of all these movies. Invasion of the Astro Monster, 1965. As a... Hold on. No, never mind. I've just seen things. I thought that was like a weird Godzilla thing, but no, it's a cool little cover. It's a good film too. I watch it a lot, and it's a good show film. It's really good, and it has fun stuff, and it marks the debut of the Exilians and the Exilians and the base and the Planet X, and it repeats some of the last things, but it's a good film. It's definitely a good film. It's a good film. It actually is entertaining, and it's amazing. It has a cool plot twist at the end. Really good. I'd give it about an 8.5 out. No, not 5. 8 point. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's really good, but I can't put it up against like King Kong vs. Godzilla and other films I've mentioned. Ebra, Horror of the Deep, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. I really love this. I really love this cover art. It's amazing. Even though that Ebra doesn't look anything like in the movie, but hey, looks cool. Be better if Skeleturtle was in the mix. But let's get on to this film. This film is really good. I really love this film. You would not know. I want an Ebra figure so bad, but they're so rare to find. Carmark Toys has it for a ridiculous amount of money, and I'm just sad. If I ever go to G-Fest, I will get one. It's really cool. I don't know why there's a volcano in the background, but the island does blow up at the end, and it is really cool. Godzilla fights a lobster. Like, Godzilla fights a lobster. I mean, seriously, Toho? That's a good idea. It worked. Have him fight a giant scorpion. Fun fact, there was going to be a scorpion in Mothra vs. Godzilla, but it was scrapped. It was in the original draft. And I will talk about anime Godzilla films on my channel if you support me. And this film is very good, as I said. That doesn't look like 1966 Godzilla, but that is cool. Looks more like a Trendmasters Godzilla. That's probably because this was released in the 90s. So, but this is a good film overall. It's a really good film, so it's a really good film. But it does have some flaws, like the King Kong aspects. Because this was originally going to be called, hear me out on this, I hope you can hear it, Operation Robinson Crusoe King Kong vs. Ebra. I'm dead serious. That was going to be a film. That's what this was going to be, but it was a Godzilla film instead, for more money. And Godzilla has King Kong elements in this, so like the giant condor. My back was a reused Rodan puppet, so more model. This is a really good film. I'd give about a 9 out of 10. It's really good. Japanese version is better. More scenes, amazing. This is the highest rated film I have on my list right now. It's really good. I love it. It's amazing. You should love it. And plus, it's Godzilla fighting the lobster. So where could you go wrong? Now we dive into one of the weirder ones, where it's more based towards children. But it's a really good film, and I really love it. It's called Dun Dun Dun, Son of Godzilla, the mark of the debut of that thing. you see this thing right next to Godzilla. Godzilla has a weird looking... He looks weird in this, but... Look at that. That is Minya. If you don't know what Minya is, are you really even a Godzilla fan? Minya is Godzilla's first child. A weird looking child. It will give you nightmares for all eternal life. And I'm going to help you get nightmares tonight because I'm going to tell you a lot about Minya and all that. Later on, of course. I don't want to give myself nightmares. Minya can't do anything. Like, Minya is just a burden to Godzilla, basically. And, fun fact, some Godzilla has been used in a lot of commercials. I remember there was a commercial about to be a better father because it shows scenes from some Godzilla. Now that is cool. But let's get on to the actual film. This features kaiju such as Kamacuras and Kumonga. Kamacuras are amazing. And I need a figure of them. Hashtag I need one right now. Please give me one. If you have one, you give it to me. I'd love it, but you probably don't, so. And plus they're so expensive. And also, Kumonga is amazing. If you're asking where I got Guanchi's idea from, that is why. I love Kumonga. Kumonga is amazing. But Guanchi wasn't entirely based off of Kumonga. There's other ideas floating around. But Kumonga is amazing. Like, literally, Kumonga is amazing. Kumonga is made out in this film as, like, an ancient creature that has, like, taken a nap or something. And then Minya wakes him up, and Kamacuras helps. Kumonga wraps up Kamacuras and Minya, and kills Kamacuras by sticking a needle thing and slurping him up. It's not that disgusting. At least on screen. And then Kumonga doesn't do it to Minya, and Godzilla sets him on fire. Boom! Also, Kamacuras are mutated in this film. So, origins explained. But this is a good film. I recommend watching it. It's a very good film. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's much better than Ebra Horror of the Deep, but it's amazing. Also, what was Son of? Son of Kong, Son of Frankenstein. What's next? Well, probably Son of Dracula. What's next? Son of Gamera? I'd love to see that film. Make it a reality. Now, since I don't have any things of these films, you're going to have to do with little pictures, which I will put on now, hopefully. So, Destroy All Monsters. All the kaiju are in this film. Some kaiju that you may not seen, or I forgot to talk to you about, but I didn't forget to talk to you about, because I know literally everything about these movies, is that some kaiju in these films, well, are not featured. Like, of course, there's Rodan, and then there's all this, and then there's like Rodan, Ghidorah, Mothra, and just all that. But then there's kaiju that I'm pretty sure you have never seen before. So let me tell you about them. There's Gorosaurus. I love Gorosaurus. You should know I love Gorosaurus. Gorosaurus is amazing. Hashtag I want a Gorosaurus figure. I literally want a figure of every single kaiju and just have my own Destroy All Monsters fight. Maybe post it on YouTube. That'd be amazing. And then there's Manda. Manda's awesome and cool. He's a Chinese dragon, even though we're in Japan. He originated in the 1963 film A Dragon, and Gorosaurus is from King Kong Escapes. And then there's Frankenstein versus Baragon, which Frankenstein is not in the film, but Baragon is, and Baragon is pretty cool. It's pretty cool kaiju. And also there's I forgot to tell you, in King Kong versus Godzilla, there's giant octopus. Well, I'm sorry about that, but giant octopus is a giant octopus. Enough said. Giant octopus is amazing. There needs to be a Bandai figure of giant octopus. Why must MSF make all of the cool figures that... all the really cool kaiju that nobody wants figures of, but they do want figures of, and they just don't want to admit it. That made no sense. Literally, that made no sense. I'm sorry about that. But this film was amazing. It's basically a big rumble, and then King Ghidorah gets his butt kicked. Like, literally. The show of King Ghidorah gets his butt kicked. Gorosaurus kangaroo kicks. I'm gonna say that again. Gorosaurus kangaroo kicks Ghidorah on the ground. Godzilla stomps on Ghidorah's necks, and Minya puts him down with a ring. Also, Anguirus helps. Anguirus is awesome. But that's basically destroy all monsters, and then Godzilla's like, you can't control me, and then he just takes and he destroys the key locks. Did I mention in the film that the aliens are called key locks? They are called key locks. You're welcome. But he destroys them, blah blah, the Earth is saved. Woo! Also, this film takes place in 1999, even though it was released in 1968. But then again, Godzilla 2000, what time does that take place? Because that was released in 1999. My brain is just melting right now. It's just controversy error, but that's a big one. Anyway, let's move on to our next film that I'm not be able to show. This film is so weird. I'm going to try to do my best to explain it. Most of it is stock footage. 1969's All Monsters Attack, aka Godzilla's Revenge. What is his revenge of? I don't even know. It's just one of those stupid titles nobody even knows about. Just, what's he revenge of? They could have made a cool name, like Godzilla's trying, like somebody stealing the sun, and then maybe it's getting his revenge on Gabara. I don't know. It's just all monsters attack, and what monsters are attacking, that makes no sense. Toho, you gotta tell me what these titles mean. There's somebody in the comments, or I'll just probably figure out myself, because nobody's gonna probably tell me in the comments unless I ask it on Kaiju Fan Talk. Then you're gonna tell me about it. Hopefully this video gets more views. 1969 was All Monsters Attack, which is basically stock footage of literally a bunch of films. I'm gonna name you all of the films that have stock footage in them from other films. Okay, so it features stock footage from Ebra Horror of the Deep, mostly the Ebra battle, some of it like just Godzilla goofing around. Stock footage of Son of Godzilla for some reason. The Kimunga scene. Stock footage of Anguirus, stock footage of Straw Monsters, I'm pretty sure. Stock footage of stock footage of Giant Condor, which is put in there by accident. That's kind of cheap though. I love these films, but some of them are so cheap, especially the Showa films. And if you think the Toho films are Toho Godzilla films are cheap, you should see the Dai Gamera films. Those are, I love them. I love every single kaiju film that I watch. And let's see here. Yes, also in this film, Minya talks. In the Japanese version, it's speech bubbles, but in the American version, it talks with a stupid voice, like, Godzilla says I should make friends more often. Are you having nightmares yet? Well, you're welcome. And in this film, there's also a stupid fight between a kid, and then there's flashes, and then there's just, it's just all messed up. It's like, the whole thing is basically a drug trip or something. It's all messed up, and it just makes you feel like, what the heck were they even thinking? I could go on and on, but then my brain would explode. So I'm just going to tell you, All Monsters Attack, I would avoid it if you don't want to see stock footage. But if you're like me, I'll give this film like a 6.2 out of 10. It's a good film, but not necessarily the best. Also, Destroy All Monsters, I forgot to give that a rating. I give it a 9. Oops. There. Destroy All Monsters will get a 9.2 out of 10. It's a really good film, but it does have some issues. But that's it. Let's move on, and I'm going to have to do this really quick. This film, I have so much to say about it, it's not even funny. This film is the reason this director does not direct films anymore. This is the film that he only directed for Toho. This film, Irishiro Honda hated with his guts. This film has one of the coolest kaiju, but the most smelliest kaiju, called Hedra. This is Godzilla vs. Hedra, 1971. And man, is it a weird film. It's just so all weird. It's like, if you thought like Destroy All Monsters was, no, All Monsters Attack was a weird film, then you haven't seen nothing yet. Godzilla vs. Hedra is just, it's a core of weirdness in Toho. It's so weird, but yet so awesome. It's really weird. It shows people dying. It shows there's a tower falling with no sound. Hedra killing people. This guy hallucinating fish people. Godzilla figures. Godzilla figures. It shows these in a film. Well, not this, but not this in particular, but older films. You know, like older, like bull-marked figures, figures that are awesome and all that. It shows that. It's really cool. It's a film, and then apparently has a music in it called "Save the Earth." Save the Earth, save the Earth, save the Earth, save the Earth. Hikayo hikara. I can't sing, and I can't speak Japanese either, except for konnichiwa, which means hello. But back to the review. This is going to have to be very fast. I have one more minute. It's a cool kaiju, cool fight. Godzilla gets his eye hurt, and then Hedra gets his eye hurt, and then Hedra poops on Godzilla, and why, Toho? Why did you make this? No, why, director? Why'd you do this? I mean, cool, bro, cool kaiju, but you, okay. Film, I'll give it a 6.2 out of 10. It's a really good film. It's enjoyable, but it's weird and all that. And this is part 1 of this video. I'm going to make this into 2 parts. But I hope this gets more views than the Imperial Godzilla review, because that made me really sad. But bye, guys.